All right, welcome back to another game of On Base Baseball. My name is Brian Hafferkamp, and I'm the designer and creator of On Base. And in this game, we have something new and interesting. We are going to pre-play Opening Day 2023. So this is going to be the Braves at Washington. Now, I just released this 2023 projected roster sheet set, and they look like this. They look like all the other roster sheets that I've put out before. So this would be uh, Washington's batters here, and you got their pitching staff here. I just printed out the teams that I need. So I have Washington and Atlanta, and the way these roster sheet sets work, we've got all of our batters here. So let's say C.J. Abrams. So you would come down, you would find C.J. Abrams, and here's his projected line for 2023. They're projecting him with a minus 3.9 batting runs, 2.9 defense, and a 6 speed. And then you have all of his stats here. They're expecting him to play a full season, 121 games and 113 hits, 9 homers, 44 RBIs. Expecting him to hit 257 with a WOBA of 299. And then you've got his base running over here, his fielding, his offense, which is a little bit different than batting runs. So offense is, what is it? It's minus something. Offense is batting runs plus base running. So it's actually more. So it's the 3.9 plus the minus 2.3. So minus 3.9 plus minus 2.3 gets you minus 5.2. So that's how offense works. It includes base running. So then you would take those numbers, and on the on-base score sheets, we have places set up for you to just transfer from the roster sheet over to the scorecard. So you can see I've just transferred those numbers in. And then now this is all I need to play is some dice, the game engine chart, and our filled out score sheet. So you're going to need a place to put these if you're going to use a different type of score sheet. And often there are extra sort of spaces you can do those kinds of things. I don't generally use splits or anything like that, so I'm not necessarily concerned with left-right batting splits. You could use it to drop someone down a level. It seems kind of harsh, but I am not a huge believer in batting splits, so that's one of those things you're going to have to forgive me on. So we have a place for our batting runs. We have a place for defensive number and for our speed. So you can see I've just pre-filled those lineups out, and we have our pitchers here. I'm using an older version. In a newer version, it actually has a specific spot for Sierra, FIP, whatever you're using. You can only use Sierra down to from 2002, I believe, to today. Otherwise, you're going to have to use FIP if you're using older seasons. But it's typically pretty close, so it's close enough that you can use either one. The categories are broad enough that it's probably going to fit in most pitchers. All right, we have our modern game engine chart. We have a few, just some simple ground rules down here. I'm going to use a D10, and so if it comes up as a 0, I'm simply going to re-roll. So if we get a 0, I'm just going to re-roll that. So that's how I'm going to play that. Most people don't have a D9, and I'm not using I'm using real dice this time. I'm not using the dice roller. I have an online dice roller you can use that sort of speeds up play with the dice rolling and simplifies some things. But the game is super simple anyway. So this is what we got: Atlanta at at Montreal. At Montreal. That would have been back in the day. Atlanta at Washington. Man, one day I'll get it right. I'm sorry about that. Let me get a little bit more coffee. I'm going to need a little for this one. So, March 30th is when this is going to take place. Now, these pre-played roster sheet sets, these are using Zips projections. I prefer, personally, the Zips projections after having read through the different types of projected stats and things like that and what they're using. I prefer I prefer Zips, and so that's what I'm using. And basically, this is all of the stats projected out for the entire season. So they projected out X number of at bats. I'm looking at, let's say, Joey Meneses. Meneses here, they're projecting with 543 at bats. So the numbers you're getting are actually projected out for an entire season. So I love that. I love that you can kind of pre-play things. It's available now. Go to onbasebaseball.com and you can pick up these projected roster sheet, the projected roster sheet set for $10. So $10, you can pre-play the entire season. If you're diligent, you could probably pre-play all of your team's games before the season even starts, and then you can kind of see. Or you can take these these projected roster sheets, and you can play them as the season is progressing. I've considered, for those who purchase it, releasing another one just before, maybe the day before the season starts. That way you can, they'll be updated as teams are playing and as teams are going. I anticipate that they're going to be updated, but if they're not going to be updated, then these are what we have until they begin to update them every day of the season, and then maybe at the midpoint, I can release another one where at the All-Star break they're sort of newly updated, and then that would come with your purchase, so you would have different times of the year. I don't think I can do every week. Although that was suggested by someone. I don't know if I can do every week like I was doing last year. Just uncertainties for the summer about what's going to be happening, and so I don't want to commit to that sort of thing this year. But maybe next year, I've considered maybe like a subscription where you pay a couple bucks a month, and then you get a new, you get newly updated roster sheets every week. So if you want to play along with the actual season as it's playing out, you can kind of play it in real time, which would be pretty fun. Okay, well, let's get into this one. For the Braves, it's going to be leading off Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, hopefully healthy this year, Austin Riley, Matty Olson, Harris in center field, Ozuna. I'm going to throw in at the DH in this game. We'll see how he does. He may not last there long because we got Murphy and d'Arnaud. I'm going to start Murphy and take the new car out for a spin, and it's going to be Rosario in left, and Vaughn Grissom is going to be getting the start at shortstop. So don't know for sure if that's going to be the lineup or not. Everybody's anticipating Vaughn Grissom at short, but it could be Orlando Arcia. Let's see how Grissom does in spring training. Maxwell Fried is going to be pitching. They are projecting him at a 3.18 FIP. For the Nats, and I have no clue as to how their lineup is going to go, so I just sort of put this lineup together myself based on sort of what I'm seeing and looking at their numbers. CJ Abrams at the top. It's going to be Luis Garcia. Luis Garcia playing second, batting second. Joey Meneses at DH. He's probably going to be playing right field or first base at different times as well. Dom Smith, so Dominic Smith, has joined the Nationals this year. Longtime Met and Brave killer, so we'll see if he's going to do that again. But he'll be playing first base, getting a little long in the tooth at this point, and had some down years, but has got some power and some pop. What's this guy's name? Candelario. Heimer Candelario. Not familiar with him. Young third baseman. Ruiz is Kybert Ruiz, which I want to say is a big prospect of theirs, but I can't remember. Corey Dickerson, former Brave, started with the Braves last year, and also played out in Colorado for a while. playing left field. Lane Thomas, longtime Washington National in right. And then Victor Robles, also a longtime National in center field. Good glove, not much stick, and fast as all get out. So at some point, Robles is not going to be fast anymore, and he's not going to have a job, I don't think, but he just can't seem to put it together as a hitter. And starting for the Nationals is going to be Strasburg. Steven Strasburg, coming back from multiple years of injuries. They're still projecting him at a 375 FIP. So everyone's expecting him to be healthy, and he's expected to start. So I'm going to throw him out there. Other people have he's not a rookie anymore, I don't think, but Gray. I think his name is Gray, not Sonny Gray, but there's another Gray, and he's a young phenom, and they're expecting him for starting on opening day. Maybe I'll do a game 2 and start him. I can't remember what his name is, but I've got him here. His name is Josiah Gray. I remember watching him last year, but they have him projected out as like a 6 and 8 pitcher, 464 FIP. So there's Strasburg is really he's the option here. Mackenzie Gore is maybe a second option. Cade Cavalli, don't know who that is. They're really not projecting anybody to bust out here, but you know their entire, almost their entire core is projected out to have a 4 FIP. So it's, you know, that would be pitching somewhere down here. So it's not so good. Somewhere in these last 3. So for Strasburg, he's pitching out of this. Actually, he's going to come out of the second column. For Fried, he'll be pitching out of the first column, and it's going to be Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, and Austin Riley. So this is a 32, by the way. Maybe that's hard to see. So we got a couple of 30-plus players in the middle of the lineup. They'll be hitting out of this column here. And this, again, is using the modern game engine chart and just rolling 2d6 dice, 1d10. And the way we read it is we read low to high. And so that would be a 46. That would be a 26. So that's how we're going to read them. They don't have to be different colors if you don't want. And here's a pitch to Ronald Acuna Jr. Acuna hitting out of this. I said there were only 2, but there are actually 3 out of this first column. So a 13 is going to be a ground out. That's right back to the pitcher as Strasburg makes the play to first. Do you say Strasburg or Strasburg? You say Strasburg, I say Strasburg. Let's call the whole thing off. We got a 12. A 12 to a hitter in the second column is going to be a ground out when it advances, and Albies rolls over one and hits it over to second base. Second baseman is Garcia, and he makes the play over to first. Smith squeezes it for the out, 2 down in the first inning. Austin Riley to the plate, 23. We got nothing here. So that's how we read it. We read from right to left. So you read off the pitcher's column. So Strasburg is in this column here. And if it's a blank, then you just keep going. So a 23 is going to be a ground out with a plus. Now the plus means that there's an error check. And so that's going to be a ground out to second base. And our error check says if the player's defensive value is negative, then there's an error on a roll of 1 or 2. If the defensive value is positive, then there's an error only on a roll of 1. Garcia has a plus defense, so if I roll a 1, it's an error. Otherwise, and that's going to be E2. So, or E4, I'm sorry. So an error on Luis Garcia, and we're going to keep Riley there. He's a speed of 3. Not a threat to steal. 1-6, this is going to be a fly ball, and that is normally going to advance a runner. But who does it go to? Yeah, it's going to be a fly out down the right field line. Deep but playable. And out in right field, Lane Thomas makes the play. That's going to be out number 3. So the Braves get one on with the error to Garcia, but they can't get him around, and that's going to be a 0 for Atlanta in the first inning. Up first for Washington is going to be Abrams, Garcia, and Meneses. And that's against Maxwell Fried, the left-hander. Fried, again, pitching out of this first column. So we have a 33. 33 is going to be a base knock. And the way you see this is that is better than whatever was going to happen. Although, yeah, it would have been a home run. He's a -4, Abrams. So instead of a -4, that's going to be a little single. And so that's how you sort of read how the pitcher affects things in on-base baseball. So C.J. Abrams on base, and we're going to try to steal. And whenever we steal, if the roll is higher than the player's speed value, then he's out. Otherwise, he's safe. So he's a 6, not the highest, but pretty salty. So he's going to be in there with a stolen base. So runner in scoring position right off the bat. With Garcia, we're going to sacrifice bunt. If it's a 1 or 2, then the sacrifice bunt is unsuccessful. So Washington's going to play for 1 here, and that's going to be a successful sac bunt. So the runner goes to third base. We now have 1 out, and Meneses is at the plate. A 1-6 is nothing off of Fried. 1-6 for Meneses is going to be a flyout with an automatic runner advance. So just like that, that's going to be a sacrifice fly down the left field line. And Rosario, not the greatest arm in the world, as it's deep enough to drive in the run from third. So a couple of sacrifices, a little bit of small ball there for Washington as they take a 1-0 lead, and Dom Smith comes to the plate. 34 to a 6 is going to be a double, and Washington getting off to a hot start as Dom Smith doubles to right field, and he's standing at second base. He's in scoring position with 2 outs. All runners get an extra base on a hit. So if Candelario can drive 1 safely, then that's going to be another run. A 1-5 to a 6. Oh, sorry. He was a 2, not a 6. It's the same result. But what do we got here? We got a single, and that's going to be a base hit. And that's a run-scoring single as Dom Smith comes around to score on the 2-out single from Candelario, and 2-0 is the lead for Washington here in the first inning. The hometown crowd getting very excited about this. A 16, that's going to be a fly ball, and that goes to center field. Acuna's there, and he's going to make the play out in center. But Washington does put 2 on the board in the first inning with some clutch hitting and some small ball, and they lead 2-0 as we head to the top of the, top of the second. It's going to be Harris. Harris with a 16. A 66 for him. That's going to be a base knock. That's to right field. I'm just looking at this die here and seeing, where it might have gone. All right, 1-7, he's safe. I'm going to steal, and he's in there with his first stolen base of the year. So Harris to second base, and Ozuna to the plate. Ozuna, we got a 23 to a 7. That's going to be a ground out with an error check. So a ground ball to first base, and we'll check the first baseman. That's Smith. Smith is a -10 defense. He makes the play, and that's going to push the runner over to third on the fielder's choice. So we're going to go, let's just go 3 unassisted on that, and that's going to be out number 1 as Smith takes it to the bag himself. Brings up Sean Murphy, 1 out. Runner at third base, can he drive him in? First opportunity for an RBI as a Brave. We've got 4-4 to a 14. That's going to be a walk. And so Murphy aboard with a walk. 2 Braves on. Runners at first and third, and that's going to be for Eddie Rosario. They're projecting Rosario out to be a -4 hitter, so not great. We'll see if Eddie can prove them wrong. He's just sort of been on decline for the last few years. 15 15 to a -4, that's going to be a base knock. And so that's going to be an RBI single for Eddie Rosario. Going to second base is the catcher Murphy. And not going to try to send him to third. That's a base hit to center field. We'll leave him at second base. So runners at first and second with 1 out. The Braves get on the board. They're now down 2-1 to the Nationals. 16 against a 0. That's going to be a fly out, and everyone's going to advance. So deep fly ball to right field to the track. Grissom gets a hold of it, and that's going to stay in the ballpark, but everybody's going to move up on the second out. So runners at second and third now. A base hit scores 2 for Ronald Acuna, and let's see what happens. Another 13. He needs to stay away from the 13s. That's another ground out. This time to the opposite side, and the second baseman Garcia, no problem there, as he gets it over to Smith. The Braves do come away with 1, but they had left 2 in scoring position, so a good opportunity there against a bad team. We'll see if that comes to bite them in the end. 2-1 our score. Dickerson, Thomas, Robles up for Washington. A 25 is going to be, that's going to be a fly ball with an error check. So fly out to center field. Acuna is, they're calling him I'm sorry, this is Harrison center. He's a +10 on defense, so definitely a good defender. And that's going to be F8 for out number 1. Only a 1 would be an error for him. This brings up Lane Thomas. Thomas is first at bat of the season. And that's going to be either a walk or a hit by pitch. So if it's a 1, it's a hit by pitch. Anything else is a walk. And so Max Fried offers up his first walk of the day. So we got a runner at first base and Robles to the plates. We'll let Robles hit away. 55 is going to be a line out, and that's a line out to 2, which you can't line out to the catcher, so we can call that a P2 on the put out. So he pops up to the catcher. And 2 down now. Runner at first base. C.J. Abrams to the plate. Abrams with a single and a run scored in his first at bat. He's like, I don't know, I'm a young guy. This is pretty easy here. Gets another single off of Max Fried, and he is 2 for 2, and that's going to push the runner to third base with 2 outs. Right, every runner gets an extra base on 2 outs, or with 2 outs. So runners at the corners. Luis Garcia to the plates. 24 to Garcia. That's going to be, either a double play or a strikeout. No chance for a double play here, so that's going to be a K. And if it's 7 or greater, I always say it's a strikeout looking. So Max Fried gets Garcia, freezes him with the curveball, and no runs come across in the bottom of the second, although Washington did get a runner to third base. Top of the third, 2-1 Washington over Atlanta in this opening day game. A 16. That again, all the 16s are going to be flyouts with a runner in advance. So that's going to be a fly ball down the left field line. Coming in hard on it is the left fielder Dickerson, and he's going to make the play right at the line, and that's going to be out number 2. Albie's threatening to sort of drop one in down the line there. Austin Riley up. He got on via an error in his first at bat. A 24 is going to be a strikeout, and that's going to go swinging for Austin Riley as he strikes out for the first time this year. One of many, I'm sure, is a big power hitter. Matty Olson stands in. 11, always probably something good's going to happen. And not this time, as Strasburg gets a strikeout, and he gets Matt Olson looking as he puts that fastball right on the corner and freezes Olson. Olson looking for something inside, and he got something outside. So 1-2-3 go the Braves in the top of the third. Takes us to the bottom of the third. 2-1 is our score. Strasburg pitching well, Fried pitching okay. We'll see if he straightens everything up as the game goes along. 4-6 is nothing off of Fried, and that will be a strikeout as Fried gets Meneses. He can't catch up with that fastball up around his letters. Brings up Dom Smith. Dom Smith doubled and scored in his last at bat. This time he is going to strike out, so that's back-to-back strikeouts, both swinging for Max Fried as he drops the slide piece on him, and Smith can't catch up to it. 45 to a 6. 45 to a 6 is going to be a fly ball, and that goes out to Acuna. That's a can of corn, and that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Max Fried as Washington goes down. 2-1, still our score. We got Harris, Ozuna, and Sean Murphy coming to the plates. Harris 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored. He's at a 16, so he is going to ground out to Garcia at second base, and that's going to be out number 1. Marcell Ozuna, pardon me if I call him Pablo. Pablo was in the East for a long time, and I just, I see Ozuna and I think Pablo Ozuna every time. He grounded out to first base in his first trip. 36 is going to be a fly out, and that's hit out to right center field. The right fielder, Thomas, is going to drift over and make the play, and that's out number 2. Sean Murphy to the plate. He walked and made it as far as third base, but has yet to score. 34 to a guy who's projecting to be a 14. That's going to be a shot to deep center field. And just like that, welcome to the Braves, Sean Murphy, as he goes bombs out to center field and ties the game at 2. Excellent. Eddie Rosario stands in. He singled and had an RBI in his last trip, trying to prove the haters wrong. So I hope that he does. And he's got a double here, so he's 2 for 2 in his opening day start on the tabletop. And he stands at second base in scoring position for Vaughn Grissom. Grissom flied out to deep right field his first at bat. And in this at bat, he is going to strike out. So that'll be a strikeout swinging as Grissom goes down with 1 in scoring position. And that's going to be all she wrote for that inning. But the Braves do tie it up. 2-2 is our score as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Ruiz, Dickerson, and Thomas to the plate. One thing we do have, which I have not put on here, is pitcher stamina. So let's see here. Strasburg's, I have their stamina listed. And Strasburg is 28. So put 28 here. And then Maxwell Fried. Sorry, forgot about that part. And so you'll want to list their stamina. His stamina is a 29. All right, 27. So this is based off of the batters faced. So I think we have it for innings pitched. So games divided by innings pitched is how we have it for these. Normally I use batter's face, but I don't use batter's face for this. So it's per average number of batters per innings pitched. So we figure that out and come up with the stamina rating. I have a formula that I figure that out for when I'm using innings pitch, so it's a little bit of a formula. Hopefully you can see everything. Are we still good with the sound? All right, so I have rolled for Ruiz, a 66, and this is maybe something very good for him. Let's see. Looks like it's going to be a single off of Max Fried as the young catcher gets a single solid to left field. No threat to run. He's a 3 steal or a 3 speed. We got a 14 here to Dickerson. Dickerson flied out to center field in his first at bat. And we've got that's going to be a walk or a hit by pitch. A 1 is a hit by pitch, so that's going to be a walk. And just like that, Fried with 2 on and nobody out. So runners at first and second for Robles. Let's go ahead and lay one down. Let's see if Robles can get the bunt down 1 or 2. He's unsuccessful, and he is successful. So I'm sorry, that was Lane Thomas. So let's go with the sacrifice hit. And that moves up both runners. And Robles, let's see if Robles can come through. 1 out, 2 on, 2 in scoring position. A 36 to a -8 is going to be a strikeout. And like that, that's a big, huge strikeout for Max Fried as he gets Robles swinging. And still, 2 in scoring position. 1 hit can draw him in. Abrams has not been, they haven't been able to get him out yet. And this looks like an out. What is he, a -4? So that's going to be a grounder. And that is to the second baseman, Albies. Yeah, we're going to say a 4 and 9. How did I change that? A 7 to 9 is the shortstop. Okay. So we'll go 6-3 on the put out. I know I went back and I made a change there on the ground outs, so I was just checking that. All right, nobody scores in the bottom of the 4th inning, although Washington did get 2 in scoring position. They can't drive them home, and it might be that kind of season if you're a Nats fan. They don't have a lot of pop, don't have a lot of bats. From what I understand, they have them coming, but they are not in the lineup this season to start the year at least. All right, back to the top for the Braves. In the top of the 5th inning, it's going to be Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, and Riley. A 55 to Mr. Acuna is going to be a line out. Again, we can't line out to the catcher, so that's going to be popped up right behind the plate. And the catcher Ruiz makes the play for out number 1. Acuna now 0 for 3 in his season debut. Ozzie Albies threatening to be 0 for 3. He's 0 for 2. He flied out to left in his last at bat. Almost dropped it in for a hit, but couldn't quite get it there. 34 is going to be a home run. And just like Murphy, Ozzie Albies loads up and drills one deep down the right field line. And that's going to be a bomb as he gets a hanger from Strasburg. And he puts the Braves ahead 3-2 with that solo home run. And Austin Riley to the plate now. Riley also rolling a 34. 34 here is going to be a fly out as he gets under it a little bit. Goes out to deep right field. And almost to the exact same place Ozzie Albies hit his. But this one goes right up to the wall, and the right fielder Thomas makes the catch. Olsen stands in now. 46 to Olsen is going to be a strikeout. And that is going to be okay looking. That's 2 strikeouts on the day for Matty Olsen. Hopefully he can get off to a hot start this year. He's had some long cold streaks and some long hot streaks and got him to good numbers last year, but hoping for a little bit more consistency in his second full year in Atlanta. All right, it's Harris. Not Harris. He'll be in the next inning. Meneses, Smith, and Candelario against Maxwell Fried. Fried at 27 batters has not approached that yet. Strasburg not even close either. So not worrying about pitching yet. Even if we do get to that, it just means dropping one column. So Fried would essentially just drop down to this, and Strasburg would drop down to this. So that's how we handle stamina in this game. 26 is going to be a K, and that comes off of Maxwell Fried's card, and he gets Garcia looking. Beautiful curveball. Drops it in. Garcia looking for the fastball and is quite surprised. Meneses, he is 0 for 2. He has a sac fly with an RBI. I'm sorry, he's 0 for 1, I guess. So this is going to be a 13. 13 to him is going to be a ground out, and that goes to the first baseman, Olson. Olson flips to the pitcher covering. That should be 3-1 instead of 1-3. And that's going to be out number 2. 2 quick ones for Max Fried. Be good to have a quick inning here. Dom Smith. Smith is 1 for 2. He has a double and a run scored. 23 is going to be a ground out with an error check. The grounder is to Matty Olson at first. Olson is a -6 defender. They have him. That's not so good. 10 means no error on the play, and so he'll take this one to the bag himself, just to spite who gave him a -6. He's a better defender than that. He's at least league average. And 3 up, 3 down, go the Braves. But again, these are projections. These are not what he has done. This is just what they're projecting him to do. So we'll find out. Harris, Ozuna, Murphy in the top of the 6th inning. Still facing Steven Strasburg. No need to bring him out. He's down 3-2 in this one, as the Albies home run put them ahead. Put the Braves ahead in the 5th. Top of the 6th we go. Harris is 1 for 2. He's got a run scored with a single back in the 2nd inning. 56 for him is going to be a strikeout, as Strasburg gets him looking, and Harris guesses wrong. He's 1 for 3 now. Ozuna 0 for 3. I had to think about subbing in for Ozuna, and I don't know. I don't know what we could do there necessarily, but I'm not thrilled about the bench for the Braves, although they have a couple players, Pilar and some others. So Ozuna is 0 for 2. He is a 7. A 1-3 for a 7 is going to be a ground out, and that's a little too hopper to short. Abrams is up with it over to first, and we finally get to see that arm of his, and that's going to be out number 2. Sean Murphy homered in his last at-bat, tied the ball game in the 4th, and what's he got here? He's got a 12. He's got a 12. He's got a 12. That's going to be a ground out, and again to Abrams. Abrams to his left, makes the play, good range, over to first, and records the out for out number 3. So we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Strasburg looking good, and he's facing off against Max Fried. Fried has the lead, 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Atlanta trying to spoil this home opener for the Nats. It's Candelario, Ruiz, and Dickerson for Washington. We got a 16, and a 16 to a 6 is going to be a fly ball, and that goes out down the right field line. Coming over to the line and settling under it is Ronald Acuna. He makes the play for out number 1. Ruiz, the catcher, is 1 for 2. He had a single in his last at bat, got as far as third base, but couldn't come in. This is going to be a grounder. A little hot shot down to third base. Riley with his first opportunity of the season, and he makes the throw over to first base to get the slow catcher. 2 down, and Corey Dickerson to the plate. Dickerson 0 for 1, flied out and walked in this game. A 36 is going to be a fly ball. That goes out into the left center field gap. Running it down is Rosario in left center. And another 1-2-3 inning for Max Fried as he's beginning to put it together. 3-2 is the lead for the Braves as we head to the top of the 7th inning. And maybe time to bring in, let's let Strasburg go one more. He can start this inning, and he is not going to run into his pitch count or his batters faced. And so we wouldn't have to drop him till the next inning. He'll be facing Rosario, Grissom, and Acuna. Albies, if we can get to him, who's homered in this game. But Rosario, 2 for 2 with an RBI. He's got a single and a double so far in this game. 26, there's nothing here for Strasburg. So that's reserved for these top-level pitchers. And a 26 to a -4. That's going to be a ground out. So a ground ball right back to the pitcher. Strasburg jogs it over to first, underhands it to Smith, and that's going to be out number 1. Grissom stands in. He's 0 for 2. There's a 26, and the exact same thing is going to happen, except this time he grounds out weakly to the first baseman. Smith takes it to the bag himself, and that's going to be out number 2. Here's Ronald Acuna. Acuna 0 for 3. Let's see if he can get his first hit of the day. 46, that's going to be a strikeout as Acuna strikes out looking, and that's a tough start to the season for him as he is out number 3. 3 up, 3 down for Strasburg in the 7th. Looking good, Steven Strasburg. Looking 2017, Steven Strasburg. Hopefully, it will be good for him and for baseball if he came back to pitch like that. We've got Thomas, Robles, and Abrams. This might be the last go-around for Max Fried. Let's see how it goes for them. 2-5, a 2-5 to a 4. That's going to be a fly ball with an error check. So fly out to center field to Harris, and Harris the second makes the play in center field. I was watching a documentary about him yesterday that the Braves put together, and his high school coaches said, you know, when the ball was hit to any of the other fielders, we were holding our breath a little bit, but anytime it went out to left center, right center, center field, we never even thought twice about it. Mike was going to catch it. So, and that's kind of how I'm sure Snicker feels out there. It's a little dicey on left, but right field, center field, you can almost guarantee those guys are going to make the play. So here is Robles. Robles, this could be something good for him. A 22 is nothing there. Robles is a -8. So 22 there is going to be a triple. A triple for Victor Robles. As he winds up at third, automatically in scoring position for Abrams. Abrams is 2 for 3 on the day. Here's a 55. 55 is nothing that Fried can stop. And Abrams is a -4. So 55 is going to be a line drive, and that's right to Olson at first. And he'll make the play for out number 2. Scrambling back to third base is Robles. And Olson steals a run with a nice play at first. Garcia 0 for 3 or 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Love to see another strikeout here. 36 to a 1 is going to be a fly ball. So he hits that out to center field. Harris in left center makes the play. And that's going to be out number 3 as the Nats strand another one. In scoring position, we go to the top of the 8th inning. Let's bring in a reliever for Washington. And let's see who they got here. I know Finnegan. Finnegan is one. So we have our game started here. How about Victor Arano? Why not? I don't know who that is. Victor Arano, and he's got a 3.79. Don't know if he's right or left-handed. And his stamina is a 5. So he did reach his stamina at 28. So Washington brings in a new pitcher, and he'll be coming in right here to face Albies, Riley, and Olson. Maybe we can figure this out real quick. He goes 7 innings, Strasburg does. Gives up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits, 3 runs. All were earned. And did he have any walks? Had 1 walk and a handful of strikeouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Ks. So nice start for Steven Strasburg. Coming back from a couple of injury plagued seasons with a good start to 2023. Okie doke. Ozzie Albies is 1 for 3. He homered in his last at bat to give the Braves the 3-2 lead. 35 to a 14 is going to be a strikeout. And Arano comes in and gets Albies looking. And that'll be out number 1. Austin Riley to the plate. Big bopper. He's 0 for 3. We got a 66. That's going to be his first knock. And that's a single for Riley in the top of the 8th inning. So Riley at first base. Not a threat to go anywhere. He's only a 3 on his speed. But we got Matty Olson to the plate. And 379. That means he's pitching out of the same column as Strasburg. So same. Olson is 0 for 3 with a couple of Ks. 34, that's going to be a fly out, and that is a fly ball to left center field. And coming over to get it is the left fielder Dickerson. No advance on the play from first, and it's going to be Michael Harris, the second, standing in. A 45 is going to be a fly ball. This time to straightaway left. Dickerson doesn't even have to move. Had him played it perfectly. And that's going to be out number 3. So the Braves strand a runner at first. In the top of the 8th inning, they head to the bottom of the 8th. This game is 3-2. We're going to leave Max in there one more inning, and we'll see how he does. He's going to be pitching out of this column now. He's officially at 27, 28, 29 batters. He can go 27. So he has reached his limit. And he'll be facing off against the middle of the order, Meneses, Smith, and Candelario. 45 to Joey Meneses is going to be a fly ball. And that's a fly out to left center field. Harris is there. He ranges over and makes the play in left center. And that's going to be out number 1. This is a 12. This will be a ground out from Dom Smith, and ground out to shortstop. Grissom makes the play over to first. And I think, no, we've called his name a couple of times. But makes a nice play at shortstop. We just need him to make the regular plays, right? Just need solid defense is short. You're not going to be Dansby Swanson. Candelario, 1 for 3. He has 1 RBI in this game. 46 to Candelario is going to be a strikeout. And Max Fried finishes him off with 1 last strikeout. And that's going to be a 0 for Washington as Fried sends him down 1-2-3 in the 8th inning. Just can't get anything going since that first inning. Fried settled in, and it's getting real tough for Washington. Had some opportunities, but they haven't been able to put it away yet. We're going to leave Arano in there. He's phase 4. He can continue to go. And as long as he doesn't get in trouble, we're going to leave him in there. So a 13, that's going to be a ground ball. That goes to the shortstop, Abrams. Abrams backhands it and makes the easy throw to first. And that's going to be out number 1, gets the slow-footed Ozuna at first. And speaking of slow, Sean Murphy, the catcher is 1 for 2. He's got a home run, solo homer in this one. 45 is going to be a fly out, so he tries to give it another ride, and that goes out down the right field line. And coming on hard is Thomas, and he makes the play right at the line as his momentum carries him into foul territory. Eddie Rosario, left fielder in this one. He's 2 for 3. He has an RBI as well. 23 is going to be a ground out. But this is going to go back to the pitcher. And the pitcher, I don't know if we have him. I don't think we have his stuff. We're going to call him a 0, which makes him a plus. So he's going to make the play to first base, and he's going to go 1-3 on the putout. And Rosario grounds right back to the pitcher, And Arano comes in and does a really nice job as he goes 2 innings and shuts down the Braves. Go to the bottom of the 9th inning, and let's bring in a closer. Actually, let's let Freed try to get a little shutout victory here, or shut out a complete game victory in his first start. We've got a closer waiting in the wings. Who do we have? Who's closing for them this year? It's going to be Racel Iglesias. They're not projecting out saves. They're projecting a 2.82 ERA for him. I believe it's either going to be him or Mentor who's going to come in the games. They both have a low projected FIP. So if Free gets in any kind of trouble here, then we're going to bring in the closer, but he's pitching out of this third column, so nothing that he can do as far as giving up home runs. He's not quite into that place, but we'll see. Ruiz is the catcher. He is 1 for 3 on the day, a 25 to a 4. That's going to be a fly ball down the left field line. Rosario coming in, and he's going to make the play, and that's out number 1. Brings up Corey Dickerson. Dickerson is 0 for 2. He has a walk. He's gotten as far as second base in this game, but that's about it for him. A 15 and nothing there. 15 is going to be a single, so he gets on board. And that's going to be runner at first base. And I told you I'd bring in Iglesias. I'm a man of my word. And he's a 2.82. So Freed actually went around twice. Iglesias is a 4, so he's really a 1-inning guy. He's a right-hander. Freed goes... he goes 8 and a third. So let's see if Iglesias can shut the door here. It's going to be Lane Thomas and Victor Robles if they can do something here. A 35 Iglesias is out of this column, so we've shifted 2 columns over, so definitely better. And a 35 to a 4, that's going to be a strikeout as Iglesias gets him on the slide piece, and Lane Thomas can't pull the trigger. That's out number 2. One more to go for this opening day game, a 1-3. That's going to be a ground out right back to the pitcher. Iglesias, no problem. He scoops it up, throws it to first, and that is a game winner. So the Braves take this one 3-2, opening day in 2023. The game has not happened. Who knows if these are the players that are actually going to be on the roster and playing on their first game. So we're going to say, he gets the save. He gets the win. He takes the loss. And an excellent game played for this opening day game. This is using the projected roster sheets. You can get those again at onbasebaseball.com. And if you go there, you'll be able to find the projected roster sheets and purchase those. If they're not, I can't remember if I put them on the front page, but they're definitely on the shop page. So if you go to shop on Base Baseball, then you'll find them there. I will put the link directly to these projected roster sheets in the description of this video. So player of the game, hard to say. I guess Freed. Freed goes 8 innings, gives up just 2 runs. And so we'll go with Max Fried in this one. Not a real stretch there. But solo home runs from Albies and Murphy and an RBI single from Eddie Rosario lead to the Atlanta runs for Houston. For Washington. Man, I'm calling them everything except who they are. Had a sac fly from Joey Meneses, and Candelario had an RBI single in the first inning. And then after that, it was just a whole lot of zeros. As they got men in scoring position throughout the game, just couldn't quite punch them in and get that hit when they needed it. Strasburg pitched well, 7 innings, only 3 runs given up, 6 Ks and 1 walk. So that's a good start for him. And we'll see if he can actually match that or even stay healthy enough through spring training to get to this place. So this is On Base Baseball. If you have any questions or comments about the game or how to use the roster sheets, I think it's pretty straightforward. Once you get them on translated over here onto the on-base scorecard, which you can use by at-bats. So 6 at-bats, or I also have one when you buy the game. You can also get one that's inning by inning. It just doesn't have all the places over here to sort of calculate what happened in the game. But you can do inning by inning as well if you prefer that sort of style. And you just input your values here. It's the same on either one, on either score sheet. And then you just play it out. This is really all you need. Some dice, these 2 pieces of paper, and then, keeping your rosters handy just in case you need to make any substitutions or anything. With the DH, it's a little bit easier than it used to be. And if you're looking for a particular player, there are some players that don't have teams. So these are minor league players. They're players who are on the 40-man roster, I believe, is how they figured it out. So they might be in the minor leagues. And so if you see somebody, you got a favorite who you think should be on the team, you can just move them up, or throughout the year. If you need to move somebody up on the 40-man roster, they should be included in the set. They're at the end of the PDF, and you'll be able to clearly see, instead of a team, there won't be anything there. It'll be blank. So that's definitely something you can use and utilize as well. All right. Any questions or comments? Leave them down in the comments section below. Otherwise, I hope to hear back that people are playing and trying out this new season. Go and get it. $10. You can get the entire 2023 season. Very unique way to play. And familiar names, but statistics that don't actually exist yet. So kind of an interesting way to play. All right. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, click subscribe. Click the little bell icon, and you'll be notified whenever I post new videos, whether it's a new game I'm trying out, or a new game I'm creating, or whether it's on-base baseball related, which I'll be doing as the season kicks off. Probably a lot more on-base baseball will be happening on the channel. So it goes a little bit dormant in the winter time, obviously, and begins to pick up some steam as I get excited. Pitchers and catchers report next week, and so very excited about spring coming. All right. I think that's that for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.